to talk about the trees?
Sure.
This tree right here is a Norway spruce. And you can tell it's a Norway by the shape of its branches. They kind of branch upward. You can see how they curve up. And then if you take a look at the bark of the tree, it almost looks like a scaly type of snake skin, and it's gray. That's the way you can tell by the bark. It has these single bundle needles. They're kind of prickly. Right here, this is a red maple. And you can tell the red maple because of the red shoots that come out. And then the bark is gray, like elephant skin bark. If it was a sugar maple, this would be brown bark. And then another way to tell is by the leaves. This is not a very good example. Not a good time to tell, but they're very, very pointy and jagged. And this is the same leaf that is on the Canadian flag, the red maple. I know these are white pines because I planted them. They have very soft needles, and their needles come in bundles of 5 needles per bundle. So there's a bundle. They're all connected at the bottom of, and you can see that there are 5 needles, and they're soft. The neat thing about white pine is this is an old white pine. They create a dark orange carpet because their needles fall every year. And also the pine cones, they have very big pine cones. This is a pine cone that's been opened up, but they're big and they have resin on them. This is a Scott pine. This Scott pine will have 2 needles per bundle. So if I just pick off a bundle here, it has 2 needles per bundle. This is my favorite Scott's pine. It kind of looks like a big bonsai tree. And that happens when the Scott's pine gets really big. I think it looks cool. The bark has an orange tint to it. You could kind of see it a little bit better with this tree that's bigger. You could especially see it at nighttime when the sun is setting and it's shining just at the right angle. It really lights up very bright orange. has like a flaky bark to it with an orange tint. And here's some of the pine cones. These are the Scots pine cones. There's one that's almost not opened at all. That's what they look like. The squirrels really like these pine cones, as you can see over here on this wood pile. This is where they've been eating the pine cones. That's just all pine cone dust right there. The large white/gray tree is a Quaking aspen. It has no leaves on it right now, but the leaves it does grow are heart-shaped, and they're green in the summer, but in the fall they turn yellow, and they also make a very nice sound. This is a paper birch, and the bark on it, it's got like this paper quality bark that peels off. These don't last very long. They get there's something wrong with them where they just die. We're walking on the path right now, and it's very wet, even though it hasn't rained in a couple days. And that's because the soil is mostly clay. There's about an inch of dirt, but then after that it all turns into clay. So the water just sits on the surface. These white pines right here, planted these trees when they were less than 6 inches, and now they are probably about 12 feet tall. And I love the red carpet that the white pine produces. Okay, that's way more than 12 feet, that one. That tree is probably probably 18 to 20 feet.
All of these trees are trees you planted.
Yes. These are all white pine trees that I planted. And they seem to do very well with the soil.
Except for the
everything.
bug.
Except for the beetle. It's called a weevil, and it eats the top of the tree, and then you get what they call a shepherd's hook, and the top branch dies, and a new branch has to be made. If you look at that white pine right there, the top of that one up here, you can definitely see that beetle got it. That one up there, it has no needles on the top, and it looks like the beetle got to that one. Sometimes they die, like this one right here used to be a white pine. And I'm sure the beetle is responsible for this. This looks like a top branch of one of these trees, and it got weak from the beetle and then just snapped off. You can see all the sap coming out, and it turns whitish, the bark, and gets very weak, and then the wind most likely blew that over. But that was probably a top branch on one of these white pines. Right here you can really see the red carpet from these two white pines. They're spaced about 10 feet apart right now. And even that I think is too close. And once you get the sap on your fingers, it's very difficult to get it off without a thorough wash. But it smells nice. It smells like pine tree. And as you look down there, you know, you can just see the two rows of white pines here. I probably planted about 5,000 trees since I've owned the property. And some of these trees are over 10 years old. And they started out being less than 6 inches. They take a while to grow.
About how much do they grow a year?
When they first start out, they might grow like less than a foot in a year, but then eventually, after about 5 years, maybe they grow a couple feet, and then after 10 years, maybe 4 feet or more per year. So it varies. It's not linear. But they grow more as they get older, and they can grow up to 200 feet supposedly. So it'd be pretty cool to have a tree that's 200 feet tall.
Yeah.
I like to go out in the springtime and see what happened to the trees over the winter, and you know, see what trees didn't make it. And all throughout here, this is old farmland. So you can see the big tire tracks, the ruts. And of course they just fill up with water because the soil's all clay. But this used to be all flat and farmland, and now it's turned into a pine forest.